Creating a cost-effective Facebook ad bidding strategy is incredibly important. Getting it wrong could leave you seriously out of pocket. One of the best things about PPC from the point of view of an advertiser is that it doesn't actually cost all that much each time someone clicks. As a rule, you generally pay only a few cents and up to, maybe $5 for clicks. And this means you have a fair margin for error when it comes to ROI, or return on investment. And if you're selling a product on your site, and let's say you make about $30 profit per sale, then you only need a small percentage of those clicks to actually result in a purchase to make a profit. Another great advantage of PPC marketing like this is there's no set cost for your clicks and the minimum spend is tiny. And this is how a huge company like Amazon can afford to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on their Facebook advertising, while smaller businesses and entrepreneurs can also afford to pay for some ads and compete with them on a level playing field. And it's highly adaptable, and it gives you a gigantic advantage if you have a limited budget or when you're just starting out. Okay, I know what you're thinking. If there's no set budget, how can you calculate how much you're going to pay? Well, Facebook make this quite easy for you. Now, essentially, this works on a bidding system where you set your CPC, your cost per click, and this defines how often your ad shows. Now, like all of us, Facebook wants to earn as much money as possible. So the ads they show will be dictated by who is bidding the most. And each time there's a slot for an ad, all the relevant ones will be compared, and the ones which bid the highest will be shown the most often. But of course, this doesn't mean if you're paying lower, your ad won't be shown at all. It doesn't work that way. It's not like an auction. So let's say you're willing to bid $2 for each click. Well, chances are that your ad will be seen frequently, but it'll also cost you a lot. If you're only paying 5 cents for each click, your ad will be shown far more rarely. But at the same time, your overheads will be much lower each time someone does click on your ad. And another important factor to consider when making this decision is your overall budget. You can set a maximum budget with most forms of PPC, including Facebook advertising. And this allows you to set a cutoff point and a cap on how much you're going to spend. So, for example, if you were to set a daily budget of $100 and you were paying $1 per click, after your ad had been clicked on 100 times, reaching your daily limit of $100, your ad would stop showing and you wouldn't pay anything more. And this way, you'll be prevented from running up a massive bill. You can also pay per impression. And this means you'll pay each time your ad is shown. And this is the default setting for advertisers. But it's best avoided until you're certain that your ad is effective. Otherwise, you could end up paying for an ad that nobody clicks on. Unless, of course, you're looking for ways to build your brand and you're not interested about clicks. You just want to get out there. You just want to have people notice who you are and what your brand is, in which case paying by impression certainly makes sense. So, how much should you bid? Well, that's going to depend on how competitive your niche and your keywords are. You can choose either automatic bids, and this means that Facebook bids for you, or you can choose to enter a bid manually. So, if you're just starting out, it's probably best to use automatic bidding to begin with. Now, bear in mind that Facebook want to make money from you, So initially they're going to set this figure quite high, but because you may not know exactly what is a good bid and what is a bad bid, you're probably going to have to go along with it just to begin with. But the best strategy that I can think of is to keep it at automatic for a couple of days and see how well your ad performs, and see how often it's being shown, see how many clicks you're getting, etc., etc. Then cut the CPC down and see how often your ad shows. And you want to keep reducing it until your ad is showing less often than you want it to, and then you put the CPC up a bit so that it starts showing more frequently. And monitor your stats. Now, Facebook provides you with quite a lot of stats, so you want to monitor those and keep track of how your ad is performing. Next thing you want to do is to cut the daily budget down to one that you can comfortably afford. Now, remember, Facebook will set it for how much they want you to spend. So you want to cut it down to something that you can afford regardless of the CPC, because after all, we don't want to run up a huge bill and get into debt or anything like that. So once you've done this, you just have to experiment and tweak and test your ad for the best conversion. And it's something that you just have to play by ear most of the time, because there are so many different variables depending on your niche, on the keywords that you're going after, on your target audience, and so on. So there is no hard and fast rule. You just have to play it by ear and work through, tweak, test, improve, and so on. And then eventually you'll get to a point where your ad is performing optimally, and then you can just simply perhaps roll it out to a wider audience. But that is the best way that I know of to create a Facebook ad bidding strategy. In this video, I'm going to talk you through how you go about creating a Facebook page. And if you're going to advertise on Facebook, it's a good idea to have an outstanding Facebook page to tie everything together. And this will allow you to gain a larger audience to market to, and it will ensure that when someone does go to your page, they'll have only positive experiences. Creating a Facebook page for your business is very similar to creating a profile page for yourself, and you have many of the same elements, such as information, a profile picture, and a cover image. Now, one tip here is to make sure you have strong branding that comes across in your page. A great logo makes the world of difference here, so invest the time and/or money in creating a good one. Also, consider using a writer to fill in your details. A professional copywriter to do that. And make sure that the writing style that you use matches the tone of your business. Now, they make it kind of hard to find the page to log in to create pages. So you want to come to this URL, which is facebook.com/pages/create.php. It takes you to this page here. It says create a page, and you'll see that there are various categories that you can have for your page. It can be for a local business or place, a company, organization or institution, a brand or a product. It can be for an artist, band or public figure. It can be entertainment or a cause or community. Now, each of these classifications will have specific fields that are unique to your page type. And it's a good idea to have all the relevant information to hand before you start putting your page together. Then what you do is simply follow the on-screen instructions as they walk you through the procedure. It's all pretty straightforward. regardless of what type of Facebook page you're going to set up. They do make it very, very easy to follow. One point that's common to all of these pages, though, is to have your logo as the profile picture. And this should be at least 180 by 180 pixels. And it's a good idea, if you don't already have a logo, to get one professionally designed, because it's just going to give a really good image about your business. So once your Facebook page is set up, you can then tie it all together with your advertising, and you'll find that things will flow very smoothly indeed. Split testing your Facebook ad is a surefire way to make sure that you're getting the best from it. Now, put simply, split testing means having more than one ad, monitoring which one converts the best, and then rolling out that ad to the majority of your ad viewers. And sometimes this is called A/B testing. And it works a bit like this. First of all, you have your Facebook ad set, and then you have two ads. For the sake of argument, let's call them Ad A and Ad B. Now, an ad set defines a particular target audience. And it's also used to define your budget, your schedule, and the bid type. So let's say you're going to have the two ads and you run Ad A for X number of days or impressions. You then note the number of conversions. You then run Ad B for the same number of days or impressions, and again you note the number of conversions. Now let's say, for the sake of argument, that when you go through all the stats you find that Ad B outperforms Ad A. What you simply do is drop Ad A and roll out Ad B to everybody that you want to target with the ad. And you then repeat the process using the wealth of data that Facebook provides in its ad reporting to further refine your split tests over time. Now, Facebook provides a breakdown of your ad performance based on location, age, gender, ad placement, and more. And you can use this data to further refine the testing process. So you can create a new ad set and then target an audience based on a particular interest on Facebook, for example. And you can also split test where the ad appears on Facebook, whether it appears in the sidebar or in the newsfeed, etc., how it performs on mobiles as opposed to people watching on PCs, etc. There's all sorts of different stats that you can use to your advantage here. And you simply rinse and repeat, and you do this for all of your ads. Now, every time you create a new ad, split test it against the old ad to see if it performs better. So your old ad is the control that you're going to test against. And of course, if the new ad performs better, well, drop your old ad and go with the new one. And if it doesn't, well, simply stick with the old ad for the time being. And what you'll find is, over time, some demographics will respond better to one ad more than to others. So you can then refine your ad campaigns, serving one particular ad to a specific target audience and another ad to another target audience. And because you can drill down and get very specific with who sees each particular ad, this is one area where Facebook ads really score over, say, Google AdWords. So you can split test and all the different demographics, and you can make sure that every ad is performing optimally. Facebook provides you with a ton of data that you can use to make sure your ads are performing efficiently. Let's take a look at some of the stats. The sort of statistics you can get are similar to those provided by Google Analytics, but in much greater detail. Let's look at some of the different metrics. First of all, you'll want to log into Ads Manager or Power Editor. You'll be able to access a number of different statistics. First of all, there's the performance, and this is the results, reach, cost, budget, amount spent, and schedule. Then there's delivery, the reach, frequency, cost per 1,000 people reached, impressions, CPM, that's cost per 1,000 impressions, and this is if you're doing CPM rather than PPC. Then you've got engagement. This is people taking action, post likes, post comments, post shares, link clicks, and page likes. Then there's video engagement if you're running a video ad. And these cover impressions, video views, cost per video view, 10-second video views, cost per 10-second video view, reach, amount spent, average percent of video viewed, video views to 25, 50, 75, 95 and 100%. And this can help you to perhaps tweak your video ad to get people to watch it longer and to see it right through to the end. So you'll know when there's a point when people are starting to lose interest in your video and are clicking away, and you can go back and perhaps re-edit your video to change that and make it more effective. Then there's app engagement, and this covers mobile app installs, mobile app actions, cost per mobile app install, cost per mobile app action, app installs, app engagements, cost per app install, cost per app engagement, post likes, post comments, and post shares. Then there's carousel engagement if you're running a carousel ad. Bear in mind, not all of these statistics that we're going to go through here are going to apply to every single type of ad. So this is to do with carousel ads and carousel engagement, and that includes the reach, frequency, impressions, clicks, unique clicks, CTR, unique CTR, amount spent, CPM, that's cost per 1,000 impressions if you're going that way, cost per 1,000 people reached, cost per click, cost per unique click, actions, people taking action, link clicks, CTR, mobile app installs, leads and conversions, key web page views and conversions, other website conversions, registrations, conversions, adds to cart, checkouts, cost per mobile app install, cost per lead, cost per key page view, cost per other website conversion, cost per registration, cost per add to cart, and cost per checkout. Then there's performance and clicks. You can track the results, reach, frequency, cost, amount spent, ends, all the clicks, click-through ratio, cost per click, impression, CPM, link clicks, CPC per link, CTR per link. Then cross-device, you've got website actions, all of them, mobile app installs, website action value, cost per website action, cost per mobile app install. And you can also customize the statistics that you want. And you can customize any number of sets of columns and save them however you wish to label or identify them. And each custom column set can include any combinations of metrics related to performance, engagements, videos, website, apps, events, clicks, and settings. You can also take a look in the breakdown column, and you can break down campaign data by delivery, action, and time. Now, there are more stats too, but I think that's enough to get you started. Now, at this point, you might be on information overload and not know what to do with all this data. It's best to download all this information to your computer and to save it. And then you can open it up as a spreadsheet. And you want to use this information in conjunction with split testing to see which ad version is performing best, see which audience segment you're targeting most effectively, and to tweak your campaigns to make sure you're getting the best value for your ad spend. You can adjust all sorts of metrics in a Facebook ad campaign. Quite frankly, it's mind-blowing. So ideally, you want to adjust your campaigns so that, first of all, you're paying the lowest CPC or CPM for each keyword or audience segment, while still getting the maximum ROI. And it's a job that's never completed because there are always new ways of improving your campaigns and making them better. There are a number of third-party tools out there that can help you to analyze and make better sense of all the Facebook statistics. I've got a few of them to show you here. Some are free, some you have to pay for, but they're all worth checking out. The first one is Likealyzer, which you can find here at likealyzer.com. And this is for analyzing and monitoring the effectiveness of Facebook pages, which of course does tie into your advertising. As it says, it helps you measure and analyze the potential effectiveness of your Facebook pages. So if you're using your Facebook ad to generate likes, then obviously you want to make sure that your Facebook page is up to scratch. And as you can see here, they do complete analytics, instant review pages, statistics, and this is actually a free tool. Then there's Simply Measured, which is simplymeasured.com. Then there's Sociograph, which is sociograph.io, and this is analytics for Facebook groups and for pages. And then there's Fanpage Karma, which is fanpagekarma.com, and again they will analyze all the different reports from not just Facebook but from all sorts of other social media. So there you go, just a few ways that you can analyze how your Facebook ads, Facebook pages, and indeed your social media as a whole is performing.